欢迎收看《亚洲经营者》，我是崔岩。我们今天的嘉宾因挽救濒临破产的日产汽车而声名鹊起，也因为领导雷诺进行转型而成为各大新闻的头条。但是在汽车产业整合的大潮中，他能否成功经营这两家世界级的公司呢？好，今天我们就来认识一下身兼两大汽车巨头 CEO 职位的 Carlos Ghosn。果断、严厉，但不失魅力。Carlos 的性格是个多面体。正因为这些特质，他才能够在竞争残酷的汽车行业中出奇制胜。现在他更是破天荒地成为了世界上第一个在同一行业中打着2份工的 CEO。这位出生在巴西的法国人，目前在日产汽车和雷诺公司同时兼任总裁和 CEO。
The biggest challenge is focus and organization. You have to focus on the most important issues and not let yourself being dragged into important but things that you should leave other people deciding on. And then you have to be extremely well organized and be surrounded with people who are very, very professional. If you do that, it's possible.
现在 Carlos 必须把作息表一分为二，不断往返于东京的日产汽车办公室和位于巴黎的雷诺办公室之间。这种生活状态会不会让这位空中超人精疲力竭呢？
I am traveling less than I used to travel when I was only the CEO of Nissan. Why? Because every time I have a trip to make, I think twice before deciding on it.
I understand you're terribly organized. You have 2 briefcases, one for Nissan, one for Renault. Do you ever take the wrong one by mistake?
No, it didn't happen. It didn't happen yet. It may happen one day. The day it would happen, you have to question yourself how this can happen. But I try to maintain the 2 schedules separate and the issues very different. I mean, I never make a decision on Renault being in Tokyo, and the other way, I never make a decision on Nissan being in Paris. I try really to keep the 2 companies separate and very autonomous.
Some people think it's insane that you're running 2 companies at the same time. Do you think it comes at a cost? Something has to give?
Well, my wife is obviously of this opinion. She's always telling me that it is too much. But I don't think it's insane. I think under certain conditions, if you're not ready to go through the discipline and the focus I mentioned before, you shouldn't do it. But so far, I think it's feasible. And I think it delivers a lot of value for both companies because that's an alliance made by 2 companies which are separate. And at a certain point in time, having the same CEO can help accelerate some of the synergies going between the 2 companies.
Carlos 拯救了日本第2大汽车制造商，把他从破产边缘重新推上了盈利轨道，这使他成为行业的超级英雄。在经历了长达7年的全速增长后，日产汽车在日本和美国的销售出现了下滑，导致整体利润增长的减缓。现在很多人都怀疑 Carlos 是否江郎才尽。
It's a reasonable concern that I'm taking very seriously. At the same time, it's true that this was the first year that we had a profit warning on Nissan, even though the final profit of Nissan was about $4 billion net profit, which is in the present condition of the car industry is still one of the best financial results between car manufacturers. But we're taking it seriously. We are really reviewing the situation and the reasons for which we came to this conclusion. You're going to see a lot of decision-making action taking place at the level of Nissan to avoid this to happen again.
Carlos 正在快马加鞭地解决这些问题。除了填补日产汽车的产品线缺口之外，他还精简了日本公司的员工，以减轻公司的运作成本。这位53岁的 CEO 还重组了最高层的管理团队，和他一起分担对美国市场的管理职责。
Most noticeably, Nissan sales in the U.S. decline. That's where 60% of your profits are generated. What profound changes do you see the U.S. undergoing in the next few years?
Oh, I think you're going to have a lot of new technology arriving to the United States. I think I mentioned the fact that obviously hybrids are are becoming a big niche in the U.S. market, but diesels are coming. Biofuel are going to be a big element. Smaller cars are going to be introduced and much smaller than the one that you're seeing today. I think the U.S. is going to go through a tremendous change. I don't think it's that in the segments that are very popular in the U.S. are going to continue to be popular: large pickup truck, large SUV. But the growth is going to come from new segments on the market. The big fight today is about how to make them affordable or how to make them valuable enough for consumers to buy into them.
Staying with the U.S., you broke off talks with General Motors last year. A lot has been said about how you couldn't agree on the conditions of the global alliance. On what terms did you and Wick Wagner part ways?
Oh, very good terms. I mean, it was obvious that we could not agree. So it's not because you don't agree on something which, in our opinion, could have been beneficial for both companies that your terms are bad. This was not an aggressive move. I remind you that since the beginning I said, well, it's a friendly move. It happens with a kind of common determination to make it successful, or it won't happen. As I've seen that the conditions for this happening in good conditions were very remote, we decided to stop it.
Do you hope to tie up with GM in future?
Well, I would not limit myself to one particular company, but I think that at a certain point in time, expanding the alliance to a third partner is something which would make sense for an alliance that have proven on 7-8 years period that it can create a lot of value and knows how to make two completely separate and autonomous company working together into a long-term perspective. Yeah, I think we consider it as a competitive advantage, so we don't know why when you have a competitive advantage you're not going to expand it to other partners if the conditions are reunited for a good execution.
You've got the best track record of any CEO in the auto industry. You're already seriously juggling duties between Nissan and Renault. Do you think you have what it takes to pull off a three-way alliance?
I think with the experience we have and the maturity of the people who have been participating into building this alliance still being there, and they have a lot of energy and a lot of motivation, yes, I think we can make a three-way alliance successful.
好，请不要走开。广告之后，日价加速了在亚洲新兴市场的扩张。
I understand both Nissan and Renault are working on a low-cost $3,000 budget car for the fast-growing India market. Why focus on something which means you have to rely heavily on volume to make up for low margins?
Well, we have to start with the strategy that Renault initiated, and Renault came with a car which is today very popular in the world, which is called the Logan, very reliable car, very spacious, good trunk, good transmission, good air condition, etc., at a $5,000 plus kind of pricing. Now all of a sudden there is a car manufacturer, an Indian car manufacturer, saying, I'm going to go further and I'm going to come with a $3,000 car. So, well, when somebody says, make a claim that he's working on a $3,000 car and giving a milestone saying, I'm going to be bringing this car to the market next year, and it's going to be something that is going to be a factor in the auto industry, we have to listen. We have to listen. We have to be careful about, yes, it may happen. So we are not waiting until the car appears. We say, okay, if we have to make a $3,000 car, how we do it? And that's the work which has started not only in Renault, but also in Nissan at the level of the alliance. Obviously, we think that if there is a chance to make a $3,000 car, which can be sold not only in India, but outside India, you have to do it in India.
How confident are you that you'll be able to make money in this budget model segment?
Well, it's very simple. If we cannot make money, we will not do it.
How long do you think it will take for you to recoup your investment?
Well, we on something like this, it's probably going to be longer than when you build a sports car or you build an SUV. But at the same time, the entry-level cars are important because they are the entry level to your brand. People who have limited resources start by buying the cheaper car of your models. But then, if they like what they're seeing, they're going to remain with your brand. And when they develop in their professional career and they get wealthier, they're going to move up into your brand and build other products. So that's why it's very important, even if the return is much longer than for other cars, that you have an entry level. It's difficult for me because we still, as I told you, the definition of the car is not finished, the composition of the cost is not finished, the pricing is not final, so we're just speculating. But we're going to have, I would say, we will do it even if the return is a little bit longer than for other cars, because having a friendly entry to the brand worth a lot of money also.
Any plans to start selling budget cars in China?
Not yet. We will start in India.
While you're making a big push into budget cars, you've been criticized for lagging behind Toyota's hybrid cars.
Yeah.
Now you've openly expressed reluctance to invest in this area. What are you afraid of?
Well, we are reluctant to put too much focus on one technology. We are extremely bullish into investing in a lot of technologies that cut on CO2 and improve fuel efficiency. We have hybrid and we continue to work on the technologies. We're talking about diesel. We're going to be introducing diesel in 2010 on the Maxima in the United States. So what I don't want is that the company push one particular technology or say that's the technology which is going to lead to what the markets want. We don't know. And we may have different solutions depending on the geographical market that we're talking about.
稍事休息，接下来日产汽车和雷诺汽车的 CEO Carlos Ghosn 将告诉我们大家，他如何同时管理两家。